Some of us love a good argument. We love to light the fire and really get things going. And it's not even in a vicious way, we just like a good contest. I know people who will have what will seem like a bad and angry argument with someone and then 12 seconds later be peaceful and smiling as if nothing happened. Not everyone's like that, of course. Some of us will do everything we can to avoid any tension and are mortified if voices in a conversation even begin to get raised. We want nothing to do with anything that is not just absolute peace. Personally, I do like a lively discussion and to get animated about something. That's part of the fun of doing these recordings and videos and things like that. But I really do not like any kind of actual argument that involves putting anyone down or where someone might be actually hurt emotionally or otherwise. If an argument or discussion is an occasion for sin, it is absolutely not good. Today, though, we have some examples, maybe especially for those who do like to have a good contest, with what that can safely look like in a spiritual context. Abraham argues with God, and then in the gospel there are several backs and forth, both in a parable and in the example that Jesus gives. Abraham is arguing, or discussing, you might say, with God what the fate of the city of Sodom and Gomorrah should be. And this is a good thing. Why is it good? Well, because Abraham is expressing his heart to God, and therefore, by that process, is growing in confidence and a desire for mercy and trust. Right? God could have just said to Abraham, hey buddy, I know what I'm going to do anyways, so just stop asking questions. But he didn't. He let him have the discussion, just like any good parent, even if they know what their kid, what they're not going to or not going to allow, they let their child, have the discussion out because it's good for the child to express themselves and the parents to know what's really on their heart and mind. Same idea there. In the gospel, Jesus' disciples ask him to teach them to pray, and he gives them a version of the Our Father, the words of which, if we pay attention, are teaching trust that God will give us what we want and asking for forgiveness. There's an implied conversation there in the very format of the Our Father. Jesus then gives a small parable about perseverance in prayer, that we, like Abraham, should be diligent, persevering, and maybe even annoying in prayer, both because it is good for whatever we are praying for, but also good for us to grow in that perseverance and trust. If one of you comes to the rectory door at 1 a.m. and needs something, I'm going to be annoyed at first, but if it's a real need and I'm able to help you in a certain very important way, whatever that may be, we're going to grow in a relationship. We're going to know each other better. And it's going to be, we don't want it to happen very often necessarily, but we're going to know each other better, and I'm going to see you in a better way as a parishioner and you me as a better way as a pastor. The argument, the tension point can actually bring us closer together. At the end of the gospel, we have a most clear reason to pray and to ask, even to argue and discuss with God, that he will give us not only what we need, but better things than we even think to ask for. He says that even bad people, of course, like us, know how to give good gifts. Won't God do even better? And indeed he does. But at the very end, he shows the most important part. God does not end by promising that he will give us the greatest material or worldly gifts. Rather, he promises to give us the Holy Spirit, a gift beyond measure. This, then, is the value of arguing or discussing. And really what I mean is being open to and honest with God. He will always give us what we ask for in a way. At least he'll listen to what we need and give us what we really need. But really his plan is better than we can even guess. He wants to give us the greatest possible gift himself, God the Holy Spirit. He may provide worldly things for us. He may take care of, some material stuff. But really his goal is to give us truly himself, the Holy Spirit, to have us encounter his divinity and take that into our lives. And then everything else will be blessed because of that. Once we receive the Holy Spirit, everything else will take care of itself. That's what God really wants to give us. And he wants us to have that discussion with him. He wants us to come to him. He wants us to knock on his door incessantly. He wants us to kind of have those arguments. Because when we have them authentically, not just totally to be angry, but to seek out the Lord and knock on his door until he answers, it is then that he is able to joyfully give us the best possible gift, the Holy Spirit, the one thing, or rather the one person that we really actually most need.